สวัสดีค่ะ Welcome to Hot Thai Kitchen. Today I'm making what is essentially a vegetarian pad Thai, but the inspiration came from a dish called pad Mee Korat. Korat is a town in the northeast of Thailand where my mom and my grandmother are from. And so this dish is a local specialty to Korat, and it happens to be very similar to pad Thai in both flavor and ingredients, but my grandmother's recipe happens to be vegetarian. So here's a treat for all my vegetarian fans out there. Let's get started. All right, noodles. So I'm using dry rice noodles, widely available everywhere. The size that I like is about 2 to 3 millimeters wide. Some brands will call that medium, some brands will call that small. This one calls it medium, so you're just gonna have to look. I soak this in room temperature water for an hour, and then you take it out and it will look like that. It's pliable, it's white. If you wanna soak the noodles in advance, you can do that and then take them out of the water, put them in a Ziploc bag, and then keep it in the fridge until you're ready to cook. I'm gonna mix the sauce in one bowl ahead of time, okay? So the main ingredient for this sauce is actually Tao Jiew, or fermented soybean paste. Now I've used this in a few of my videos, and it's basically soybeans that have been fermented. If you cannot find this, you can also use miso paste, okay? You need a little bit less, but I'll give all of that in my written recipe. And this is actually an iconic ingredient for pad Mee Korat, and it's a great substitute for fish sauce because it's got that sharp acidity, lots of umami. I like to mash them up so that it's better distributed amongst the noodles. So now that that's all a mush, I'm gonna go in with some soy sauce, tamarind juice. This is gonna have a note of acidity that's quite prominent, and just so you can see what the package looks like, it doesn't have to be this brand. I don't always use this brand. I use basically whatever is available, and it should say tamarind concentrate on it, okay? And then some water going in. Optional, some chili flakes. I like to make this a little bit spicy, but you don't have to. And that's it. That's the sauce. Just gonna quickly go through the other ingredients in this recipe. So I've got some shiitake mushrooms, some fresh ones, which look like that. And I take all the stems out and I cut them into thin slices like this. It's a great meat substitute for really any dish. So I love shiitake mushrooms. Usual duo in pad Thai, which is bean sprouts and garlic chives. Okay, bean sprouts, you can get them in any Asian grocery store. Garlic chives, they come whole like that. And if you can't find these, you can either use green onions or you can use regular chives. The goal here is to get something oniony, garlicky in it. Lastly, I'm using pressed tofu, the same kind I used in my pad Thai video, and it's got a firm texture like cheese. It's very firm, so it's great for stir frying. It's not gonna break. You just want little pieces, just like that. And these are optional. You don't need to put in tofu if you don't want to. The other ingredients that I have is some chopped garlic and shallots, and also some chopped palm sugar. That is it. We are ready to go cook. So I'm going to start by cooking off the mushrooms and the tofu. Just sear them off a little bit so that they get a little caramelization. By the way, if you're not vegetarian and you want to add meat instead of mushrooms and tofu, you can do that as well. I would also pre-cook the meat here. Give it a little time to sear. Don't stir them just yet. Give it a flip. And don't add too much oil at this stage because the mushrooms absorb a lot of oil. So if you give it a lot, it will take up a lot. All right, it's good enough for me. I just wanted some golden brown, some searing. Add a little more oil. This time you want to be generous because if you don't add enough oil and you want to keep it lean, your noodles are going to get sticky and clump up. That's one of the things that a lot of people go wrong is they don't add enough oil and the rice noodles are clumpy and they don't understand why. So in here, I'm gonna add my palm sugar and also some garlic and shallots. So I'm going to cook the palm sugar until it becomes caramelized and dark, and that's how we're gonna develop flavor and also color. So the sugar will slowly melt, and then it'll start to turn a dark amber color. So if you can imagine how good palm sugar is and how good caramelized palm sugar is. All right, that looks good. It's dark brown. I am going in with the sauce. Ooh, and it will bubble aggressively. And then I'm gonna go in with the noodles. that have soaked, and also the mushrooms and the tofu that we cooked earlier. I'm gonna change weapon because now I need to twist and toss. And you're gonna do this until all the sauce is absorbed. Keep an eye on it. If it looks like it needs more liquid, you can add extra water, okay? Because the amount of liquid that evaporates when you add the sauce will differ from pan to pan, from how hot your pan was. I think this definitely needs a little more water. And that just takes experience as well. The first time, just cook until everything's absorbed. Give the noodles a taste, and if it's still too chewy, add a little more water, let it cook a little bit more. And remember, it's better to add too little water and then having to add more than to add too much water, in which case it's done. At this point, if you want to add eggs, you can go ahead and add eggs right now, but I'm keeping this vegan, so I'm gonna skip that. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. Turn off the heat and add my vegetables. And yes, that looks like a lot of vegetables, but trust me, you want a lot of vegetables to lighten up the noodles, otherwise it's gonna be really heavy. It'll look like a lot less when it's done. There you go. Oh my gosh. It's so easy, it's done. So if this is your first time, go ahead and taste it, okay? And if you want to adjust the seasoning, now's the time to do that. Here we go. See, if you oil the noodles enough, they will separate nicely rather than clump up together. Now's not the time to be healthy. You can eat salads after. So, pad mee korat is typically a very rustic dish, so there's no garnish or anything like that. But, and it doesn't usually come with peanuts, but to give it, you know, the air of pad thai, I'm gonna go ahead and add some peanuts anyway because I think it adds nice crunchiness to it. Now, I don't think this needs any more lime. This recipe doesn't need lime juice the way pad thai normally does, and pad mee korat doesn't usually come with lime, but if you love fresh lime, go ahead and put a little squeeze on top if you want, but I am perfectly happy with this one. Oh my God. Listen. Regardless of whether you're vegetarian or not, you need to try this. The perfect balance of sweet, salty, and sour. The noodles are chewy. The mushrooms give that kick of umami flavor. It is so good. So you've got vegetarian friends. They will love you for it. So the recipe is on hotthaikitchen.com. When you make it, send me a photo, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, and I will see you next time for your next delicious Thai meal. สวัสดีค่ะ Welcome to Hot Thai Kitchen. I'm making สวัสดีค่ะ